Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Talkin Wrasslin podcast with your host, the macho-loving, cornet-carny, little munchkin Denny Vale. And the Jacksonville wrestling fan, whose favorite wrestlers, of course, are forever and always will be the Young Bucks, Lyssie Vale. Together, these two give a retrospective of the week in the professional wrestling world throughout all promotions across the world. So let's jump into this week's episode. Oh my God!
Hello, welcome back to another episode of Talkin Wrasslin.
Hello.
Lyssie's the host. That's me. I'm Lyssie. Hello. Joined here with Dylan.
Hi.
I'm half asleep today. I have not slept well over the past couple of days, specifically last night. But I've had to get up super early the past few days in a row. So I am
Boo-hoo.
delusional. Because my sleeping schedule got fucked up. So, if I'm a little out of it today, well, that's why, I guess. We're gonna go through a couple things, this episode, just, some things prior to, Raw and Dynamite, just stuff that happened over the week in the wrestling world, along with Raw and Dynamite. We'll talk a little bit about TNA Clash at the Castle.
Wow.
Starting off strong. Clash at the Castle, and then we're going to jump into some questions that we got over the course of the week. There's no flashback match because we're going to be answering the questions, so sorry about that, but that'll be back next week more than likely. And then we'll get into the Wrestler of the Week, but before...
And we're recording this on a Sunday and not our usual Monday, so the A&E Legends ECW episode will be next week.
Yes,
We'll talk about that next week.
But before getting into everything, Dylan, how's your week been?
It's been pretty good. Yeah. Really nothing to go on about. I don't think anything exciting happened.
You don't want to talk about your frustration with shorts?
Oh, I fucking hate
shorts.
So, I like specific shorts. I like wearing shorts at knee's length or below my knee.
Dylan is too picky for this situation.
Mostly below my knee. But every goddamn place I fucking go, they have shorts. I can buy them. But guess where they end up? Above my knee. Stop with the short bullshit. Some people like wearing shorts below the goddamn knee.
You also have to take into this context that Dylan's pretty tall.
Yeah.
So for you're a lot of leg.
I do have, as the Stacy Keibler marks out there, I got legs.
Yeah, so this also is probably just a Dylan problem. Because I feel like you're talking about shorts that are hitting mid-thigh area for me. And I get that because it's board short length.
I don't like them.
Typically, and I get it that that's not what you're into or whatever, but Dylan's been having this fucking struggle. So we're gonna probably try and go up to Foot Locker tomorrow. And
spend a lot of money on shorts, unfortunately.
Well, see if you can at least find a pair that you like.
Yeah.
I have faith that maybe Foot Locker might have some.
Dylan has to get his eyes checked out tomorrow.
Yeah, so we have to go to a doctor's appointment tomorrow.
Oh, and next week's episode, we get to talk about our Collision.
Oh yeah, we're going to Collision on Thursday.
Yeah, so
already disappointed in the one match that was announced.
Yeah, Chris Jericho and Private Party.
Fucking Chris Jericho.
I gotta
Shut
sneeze.
up.
Sorry, I had to sneeze.
Jesus fucking Christ, already screaming.
Oh, that felt good.
So yeah, next week we'll be talking about our Collision experience. Hopefully it's a solid show. But as of right now, we've only gotten Chris Jericho announced for us, so that fucking sucks.
Yeah.
So, not too excited about that. Anything else thrilling, exciting about your week that had happened?
No, I just found out I'm supposedly going to be going to Canada next year.
Yeah, it might be.
So there's that.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm so fucking tired.
Because my little brother is graduating and he wants to go to Canada. So
yeah, so that's his graduation present, so he might end up going to fucking Canada.
Hopefully we get to see a Blue Jays game. I'm fine with seeing a baseball game in Canada. I'm a Phillies
I wonder
fan, by the
what
way.
a Canada hot dog at a baseball game is like.
Me and my uncle were talking about that, and
Really?
he was like, I wonder if they serve hot dogs there.
I'm sure they serve hot dogs, right? But like, I don't know. That might just be the American in us.
That's like, I was like, I don't know. Like, maybe they do. I don't know.
But like, I feel like, if not, what is their equivalent of a hot dog
I
at a
just
baseball
want to
game?
know.
So I'm very curious about that. All right. Well, I mean,
How was your week?
nothing too fucking crazy happened during my week. Aside from the fact that like I haven't fucking slept. Had to go get my car inspected on Friday. And it didn't pass inspection, which is super fucking cool. Everything else on it's fine. Like it passed the emissions and everything else. Like literally they said everything else on your car is perfectly fine. However, there is some rust on your bumper, and I guess it's in Pennsylvania. Our inspections, I feel like, are fucking asinine for the quality of road that we have.
Yeah.
Not that rust has anything to do with the roads, but like they're very specific. I feel like I don't know what it's like in other states.
You don't need an inspection in Georgia
Or Florida. I don't think.
Florida, yeah.
But basically because of the amount of rust that was on my bumper, it technically couldn't pass for inspection. So I have to get my bumper replaced. So
If you're
that's
from
fucking awesome.
If you're from another state and you're listening to this, let me know if you guys have to get your car inspected.
Yeah, and how like insane is it?
Yeah.
Because I feel like ours are pretty fucking insane. But then also like I feel like ours are pretty strict, but then there's places where like in Georgia or Florida you don't even need a fucking inspection and you could just drive the worst fucking shit.
No,
thing.
you could.
Huh?
Yeah. So
That's what I'm saying. Like you could just drive literally whatever.
in Georgia, so in the state of Pennsylvania and some other states, it's illegal to have a hood on your car. Like if you don't have a hood on your car, it's illegal.
Mm-hmm.
In Georgia, you can have the hood ripped off your car,
Yeah.
showing the engine and everything.
I actually had somebody pull up at the shop that was going to the pool hall the other day without a hood on their car.
That's insane.
And we're like, what the fuck? And my boss was like, well, that's illegal. But I mean, if he doesn't live far and it's like he's been like working on, then I guess. Like,
I
but
guess.
why drive the car? I don't know, fucking weird. But yeah, I mean, I had to wake up early for that. And then I had to wake up early on Saturday because our hours change at work. To go to work. And then this morning, I feel like I woke up pretty fucking early when I didn't need to, and I wanted to sleep in, but I couldn't fucking fall back asleep. So that was really fucking cool. So I'm exhausted. But anyway, I guess let's just get on into what we're talking about today. So the first thing on today's list, which is this past week of wrestling things that were not wrestling, like the actual wrestling shows. Who killed WCW episode 2?
Bret Hart got really mad in this episode. This episode was more so built on the streak, the 83-week streak ending, and Bret Hart and Goldberg.
Well, I could see why he'd get mad about it.
And Goldberg ending Bret Hart's career, which understandably, Bret Hart should be mad, and I love Bret Hart for that.
I mean, like, okay, I don't disagree with Bret Hart being mad about it. Like, I don't recall too much of, like, actually, so this just could be me, being, what's the word, I guess, like, uneducated about the matter. So I don't really recall seeing too much interviews of Goldberg talking about the situation afterwards. I know they're out there, I just haven't seen them.
Fuck Bill Goldberg.
So, like, for a while, I mean, my thought process is still always fuck Goldberg, but I'm like, man, you know, I wonder, like, you know, like, it's been so long. Like, I wonder if Goldberg still feels, like, the same way towards Bret about it and everything, like, if he truly does and whatnot. And after hearing him talk in this episode about being like, well, yeah, I feel bad about it, but, like, dude, get over it, I'm like, okay, shut up. Like, okay, shut the fuck up, dude.
It ended Bret Hart's career, which caused underlining a lot of health effects of Bret Hart. He had a stroke a few years afterwards because of this. Like, Bret Hart wasn't doing too good after this, so he got concussed. His head got fucking kicked in the 5th row, pretty much.
Like, I get it that, like, I mean, I get it that he said sorry or whatever, but it really just, even to this day of this newest installment of the Bret Hart Goldberg interview story, whatever, it seems like he still really just legitimately has no fucking remorse for it. And, like, probably didn't actually fucking try to do anything to actually help him in the grand scheme of things.
Fuck Goldberg.
So, yeah, fuck Goldberg.
My favorite thing about this episode is, like, this was at a time where Bischoff pretty much got fired. And he comes home and then goes to Cody, Wyoming.
And goes fishing.
He's like, fuck this. And then gives the book to Kevin Nash.
Yeah.
Kevin Nash, in Kevin Nash's own words, I'm over as fuck. Like, shut the fuck up.
He was the one booking the damn shit.
So we're 2 episodes in, Lyssie.
Yeah.
Who do you think killed WCW?
Vince Russo.
That's next week's episode.
Yes, that is next.
That is next week's episode. Is we're gonna be talking about when Vince Russo took over. So that's gonna be fucking fun.
In all reality, so far, like as we're talking about it, I mean, I feel like realistically speaking, yeah, then a lot of the people in the network didn't want WCW on TNT, TBS. But I feel like if Ted Turner, like the guy of TNT and TBS, wanted it there, it wasn't going to go anywhere.
The reason why no one wanted it is because of the declining ratings. They were in the middle of a literal fucking Monday Night War with WWF, and WCW was doing good. 83 weeks in a row. Finger Poke of Doom happens. They'll put butts in seats from Tony Schiavone happens. Everyone switches over the channel. Mankind wins the belt, and then WCW just slowly starts dying. If you go watch WCW, like WCW at its peak was 1998. Go watch like any episode of Nitro from 98. It's really fucking good. It's like really good wrestling, really good WCW. I'll even take 97 because that was like the whole story of the NWO and Sting and all that. But from 99 onwards, it's fucking bad.
Yeah, well.
Especially when we hit 2000. It's bad.
I don't think I would really 100% blame the network for it.
I'm blaming Vince Russo.
Yeah, I'm still just going to blame Vince Russo. Anything else you want to talk about with this episode?
No, I just love Bret Hart.
Okay, fair enough. Oh, okay. People get mad over anything on Twitter, in parentheses, the Cody Rhodes, Shawn Spears, Ethan Page, Lexis King segment from NXT.
Yeah, so there was a segment on NXT because Cody was on NXT because he got invited to the cookout.
Yes.
He got invited to the cookout from Trick Williams, which, by the way, you know what that means, right?
Yes, I know what that means.
Brian Alvarez doesn't.
Oh, God.
So he was on the Wrestling Observer podcast with Dave, right? And they were like talking like how we're talking and everything. And then Brian Alvarez was like, Cody got invited to the cookout, which I guess they have a cookout at the Performance Center, and he's going to be there on the 4th of July.
Was it explained to him?
No.
They just moved past.
Dave Meltzer had no idea either. He was like, yeah. I don't know what Dave said about the segment.
Okay.
Because what Dave says matters.
Anyway, continue on what you were just saying.
But they had this segment backstage where, if you don't know, Cody Rhodes, Ethan Page, Shawn Spears, and Lexis King, formerly known as Brian Pillman Jr., were all in another company called AEW. Mm-hmm. And now they're all in WWE. So they did this segment, they did the Spider-Man meme pretty much, where like Cody's backstage and he walks up to Shawn Spears, and Shawn Spears is like, you finished your story, now it's time for me to finish my story, referring to that they're going to have a battle royal this upcoming week on NXT to crown a number 1 contender for the NXT title. Shawn Spears, Ethan Page, and Lexis King are all going to be in it. But first one to come was Shawn Spears, and he was like, I'm going to finish my story. And then Ethan Page was like, I don't think so. I'm going to finish my story. And then Lexis King popped up and was like, ha, I'm going to finish my story. And then Cody goes, I see you guys are all in a good place. And then that caused a whole uproar with the AEW Freakazoids. Because, oh my God, they're taking shots at AEW. When they really weren't.
I think the whole thing's stupid. I hate NXT. I fucking hate NXT.
Well, keep those comments to yourself. There's questions about NXT.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll talk about that later. But No, it's stupid. I mean, it was a funny segment, and I like the Spider-Man picture that they took.
Yeah.
That was funny.
I like the all four of them reuniting.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a nice little nod.
Because they're all Cody guys.
Sure.
They are, though.
I guess. I don't know.
Sean Spears is like Cody Rhodes' best friend, and Cody Rhodes helped Ethan Page and Lexis King get a job.
Okay,
So
I didn't know about that,
Yeah.
but that's cool. I'm sorry I'm yawning so much. I'm very tired. Yeah, I don't really have too much to say about this. I mean, like, again, I'm not surprised people will bitch about literally anything on fucking Twitter. So, I mean, it is what it is.
how dare you talk about our company?
Sure. Anyway, moving on to Raw. I don't feel comfortable saying this. I don't feel comfortable saying this. Liv wants Dom to be her,
Her daddy.
yeah, I don't like that.
That's what she said.
I don't care if that's what she said.
That's what she
I
said.
don't like it.
What do you think of this whole
I
fucking
hate it.
storyline?
I legitimately actually fucking hate it. Like, I get it. I get it. I get why it's happening. But I think that it's fucking, I don't know. I feel weird about it.
So, I don't know if you saw, but supposedly what happened, so Liv, like, slid the
Yes, I saw that.
the hotel key to Dom, and then Finn Balor took it, supposedly.
I don't know who took it. I didn't see that part.
My favorite part about this whole thing is they're sitting around like the Judgment Day table, all of Judgment Day, and Carlito, and then Carlito goes, "She gave you her hotel key? That's cool."
That's cool. I don't know, like, and maybe I'm a bit of, like, a Debbie Downer about it, because, like, okay, I feel like what Dom and Rhea were doing was, it was clear as to, like, the type of message that they're trying to send of it. I don't want to say it was done discreetly, but it was done really well. Like, they had a solid dynamic back and forth between the two of them, and I get it that, like, Liv's whole thing is, like, just trying to get into Dom's head with everything, but to me, and again, maybe I'm just being a Debbie Downer about the whole thing, I feel like it's taking steps backwards in women's wrestling.
It's something. I have a feeling where this is going is Rhea's gonna show back up when she's cleared to go, and there's gonna be this whole thing of like, oh, who's Dom gonna pick, Liv or Rhea? They're gonna have a one-on-one match between Rhea and Liv, and then that's when Dom's gonna make his choice, and Rhea's gonna be pissed when she shows back up.
And sure, I get that, and that's fine and whatever, but like, it feels like if it was just like very like normal, like flirty type behavior, then that's fine, but it just feels over the top. And again, to me, it just reminds me, and like, here's the thing, I'll always say this, I'll never not say this, like, women are allowed to do whatever the fuck women want to do with their bodies, and that is what that is, and I'm not gonna ever say anything like against that. What I am saying is, like, it feels like that it feels like that this is so, it's just so over the top in trying to be, like, sexual in the manner with it.
It's so 2006.
It is. It really is. Like, that's what it feels like, and it feels almost like a step backwards, where I feel like I don't want to say it makes Liv look stupid, but it feels like Liv could be doing something, like, in the same vein, but smarter. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like half asleep right now. I don't really know how to explain this.
The women's champion is a part of a love triangle storyline.
Yeah. It just, I don't know. It's
something.
It's too much.
It's crazy, but I mean, sure. As long as this becomes Rhea comes back and she's pissed off and beats the fuck out of people and Dom makes the right choice.
And, like, I get it that, like, Liv's whole thing is supposed to be getting to Dom and getting under Rhea's skin and whatnot, and, like, whatever. I just feel like they could have done, like, a smarter, more strategic way of going about it. Because, again, like, the dynamic between Dom and Rhea was so fucking good. Like, it was really fucking good, and they didn't really have to say it for you to know it. And to me, this feels like we have to say it so you know it. And I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't know, but I'm not a big fan of it, personally.
They could be doing better.
They could be doing a lot better. I think that's why I'm mad about it, because I like Liv, and I like Rhea, and Dom's grown on me as a heel. Still not the biggest Dom fan, but, like, I like the Judgment Day overall. So, like, to me, it's just kind of disappointing, I guess.
I mean, the Judgment Day is pretty much on their last legs to begin with.
Yeah, it also feels fan servicey. And maybe that's just another thing as to why I'm not enjoying it. Because, like, when I'm watching anime and shit, like, I don't like when shit's super fan servicey. And it just kind of, like, rubs that same way.
What's fan servicey?
So, fan servicey is... how the fuck do I explain this? It's something that is put into... Typically in, like, anime or video games or something. But it's put in there to specifically cater to a group of fans that might fall closer to the line of NSFW. So...
Oh, so the Twitter crowd.
It's appealing to the basement dwellers on Twitter that want Liv to be doing what Liv's doing to Dom to them.
Yeah.
So they can jerk it.
Yeah.
And...
Jork it.
So there'll be jorking it. And, like, that pisses me off.
It's those people that never touched a woman.
Basically. I mean, like... And again, like, I mean, you can make the argument of just, like, well, Rhea appeals to fan service as well. And it's like... Yeah, but it's not so shoved down your throat. Like, that's the issue that I have with it, is it's so prevalent shoved down your throat of, like, you know who this is trying to be catered to.
I would argue with that and say it is, because every time the camera angle shoots at Rhea Ripley's ass, there's just a picture going around on Twitter.
But that's not Rhea's fault. Like, that's what I'm saying. That's not Rhea. That would fall more on the lines of WWE. Like, and don't get me wrong, like, this is probably more than likely, obviously, like, WWE's like, hey, do this storyline. So I'm also not saying, like, this is all Liv's fault and whatnot, but, like, Rhea wearing her gear and the cameraman, like, filming at an angle where her ass is now just in frame and people screenshotting that and sending that around, that's the fans doing that. Where, unfortunately... For me, I should say, at least unfortunately, Liv is like the one who has to be saying these things and has to be acting these way and has to be in these provocative poses and has to be like over-sexualizing the situation, because so that's what's going on with the whole
mommy thing.
Yeah, but calling yourself mommy and saying mommy's always on top and then intentionally putting a card key for your hotel room down somebody's pants is two different things.
She didn't put it down.
She put it in his waistband.
Did she?
Yes.
I didn't even notice that. I thought she just slid it to him.
Two different things.
I thought she just slid it to him. That's how much I pay attention.
And also the like jumping on top of him and being in a provocative pose intentionally. Like, it's all intentional. And that's what bothers me so much.
This whole storyline's fucked up, okay?
Yeah, again, I'm not the biggest fan of it. It just feels like something about it feels gross, and not in, like, the gross way that, like, you want it to feel in wrestling.
Wait until they go to Netflix.
Yeah, Jesus fucking Christ.
It's gonna be wild.
Moving on to the next point, because I guess we're done with this. The Uncle Howdy stuff is being dragged out for way too long.
It really is. I'm already not a fan of this. I'm sorry. Like, come after me and everything. I'm not disrespecting Bray Wyatt. I just think this whole fucking thing is stupid.
I more so agree with the standpoint that you were talking about the other day, where you were saying, like, you don't like how it's just the QR code flashing on the screen, whereas when it was Bray Wyatt, it was, like...
Everywhere.
It was everywhere, but it was intricate. Like, there was someone walking by with, like, a sign that had the QR code in the background, or, like, it was very, like, discreet. It was more, thought out.
And it wasn't dragged on for this long. It wasn't.
I don't think it was. It doesn't feel like it was.
It was dragged on, but not for too long. And it's just... This is being dragged on for way too long. And we already know it's going to be booked like shit, because no one in WWE can be fucking spooky and be booked good unless you're The Undertaker. I don't care. This whole fucking thing is... Maybe I'm wrong, but I just see where this is going. It's going to be a mid-card faction.
I mean, so...
When Bo Dallas is leading a fucking faction, that's as much as you can say. It's going to be a mid-card faction. I'm sorry.
So, I mean, when's their next pay-per-view?
Money in the Bank.
Do you think that this gets revealed at Money in the Bank?
At this fucking point, I hope it gets revealed tomorrow on Raw at this point, because it's being dragged on for way too long. Like, it should have just been revealed already. Like, it feels
Who
like...
are they even going to feud with?
Exactly.
Like, who when they show up, what are they showing up for?
Exactly. It's stupid. I'm sorry. I get what they're doing. I get it's for Bray Wyatt and all of that, but this is like a band coming back together without the lead singer. Yeah. The original lead singer. Like, this is like if Guns N' Roses was to come back. I mean, they're already back, but if they were to come back and not have Axl Rose as the lead singer. The guy that made the band.
Yes.
Like, this is like, trying to think of a band. This is like Journey right now. They don't have their original lead singer. And they're garbage now.
Yeah.
Like, it's not good. I hate it. It's being dragged on for way too long. A lot of people on Twitter don't seem to be interested in it either. And people on Twitter have too much time of like looking up the QR codes, because I can tell you right now, I have not scanned one QR code because I don't give a fuck.
I don't even know what's going on with it.
I think it's dumb.
I haven't even followed to see like what the QR codes are even leading to at this point.
I think it's dumb. And before, like, when they were, like, when Bray Wyatt was doing the QR codes, the announcers, like, didn't say anything about it. They never, like, were like, oh, there's that QR code. But, like, when the QR code pops up on the screen, you hear, like, the announcers go, there's that QR code again. And it's like, it's fucking stupid. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I haven't been, like, really caring too much about it. I mean, I want to give it the benefit of the doubt and see, like, what ends up happening when they, finally debut and show up. Like, I don't want to judge it too harshly until I see, like, quite literally what they actually are going to do. But as of right now, I just don't have much of an interest in it, so.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid.
Braun Breaker versus Ilya Dragunov wasn't a wrestling match. It was a fight. I didn't see this, so.
It was a goddamn, as JR would say, slobber knocker.
Because I think we went to bed before this happened.
Yeah, and then
I did not rewatch it.
I watched it the next day, and they didn't have a wrestling match. They had a fight, and it was a really good match. Braun Breaker hit a top rope Frankensteiner.
Oh, I saw that going around.
And Braun Breaker won, as he should have. But Braun versus Ilya is always good. I can't wait for them to have many more.
Yeah.
At this point.
Still talking about Braun Breaker, but Braun kills Ricochet.
He killed him.
Murdered him.
He murdered him.
Real glass.
So there was rumors. The rumors seemed to be true about Ricochet not resigning. He gave his notice. So this was a way of killing off Ricochet in WWE once and for all before he goes to AEW and wrestles Will Ospreay, more than likely. But yeah, Ricochet came out after the match, like with Ilya, and they started brawling, him and Braun, and they brawled to backstage. Braun fucking threw Ricochet into a trailer, and like he splat on the concrete. Like he took this concrete bump like no one else should. Goddamn. And then he gave him a power slam through real glass on a windshield. I don't know if it was actual real glass, but
go cry me a river.
He killed him. He killed him.
So do we think that Ricochet shows up at Forbidden Door?
No, he doesn't. He'll have a 90-day no-compete clause.
Well, I thought his contract expired.
Oh, well, maybe then.
Because if a contract expires and you don't
true.
Resign, you don't have. It's if you're released.
I don't know how contracts work.
So I mean, I could be wrong about it, but I feel like I thought that's what it was.
He might. I don't know. I just want him to wrestle Will Ospreay again. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's fair. Moving on.
Well, what did you think about Braun killing Ricochet?
Real glass, go cry me a river.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it was fine. It was a good way of writing him off forever. He goes into the ambulance and never comes back, just like William Regal.
I don't have this written down, but it was also funny that Samantha Irvin ran out because she's dating Ricochet or whatever, or fiance or whatever, and she ran out to like make sure that he was okay and like went in the ambulance with him. And then for the main event, Pat McAfee got to be the ring announcer.
Well, that's what you did. Write that down.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh.
Pat McAfee is no Samantha Irvine, but he's a close second. Good job, Pat.
Yes, I want to
did
give
see
Pat
the clips
McAfee his
of
flowers.
that on Twitter, and that was fucking hilarious. I like that the pyro scared him.
Yeah.
Like the pyro fucking went up, and he just went ah.
Did a good job.
He did his best.
I love Pat McAfee. He's great.
What if she's not back on Raw tonight and it's just Pat again?
You mean tomorrow? Tonight's Sunday.
Yeah, tomorrow.
That would be nice. I think Pat should do it.
I think he'd do a fine job. Alright. Moving on over into Dynamite. The Elite challenge AEW to Blood and Guts. Dylan is a praying man, but he hopes the Acclaimed are nowhere near Blood and Guts, which you're probably wrong. It's probably going to be.
I really hope the Acclaimed aren't a part of Blood and Guts.
They probably are going to be.
Because why the fuck... No, they said they want AEW's best in Blood and Guts. The Acclaimed are not AEW's best.
They're not.
That dumb motherfucker, Max Caster, and that roided up asshole Billy Gunn deserve nowhere near fucking Blood and Guts. And if you notice, I'm only fucking dissing both of them because Anthony Bones did nothing wrong.
Anthony Bones did nothing wrong. Anthony Bones is great.
Fuck Max Caster, fuck Billy Gunn.
I want Max Caster in Blood and Guts because I want him to get demolished.
I don't want them in Blood and Guts at all.
I want to see him get his fucking ass chewed out.
Who do we think the fifth man is going to be for the Elite?
Hangman.
It's going to be Hangman.
There's no other person that it can be. It's Hangman.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Swerve,
Unless, actually...
Swerve shouldn't be in Blood and Guts either.
Actually, unless... Because Coda's still technically a part of the Elite.
I think he's still injured.
Yeah, no, it's going to be Hangman. It's hands down going to be Hangman because he has creative plans that are coming. They were talking about it, and Swerve also confirmed it that there's new creative talks for Hangman, so he will be back very soon.
And I hope Swerve's not in Blood and Guts. Let's put it that way.
I wouldn't mind seeing Swerve in Blood and Guts. I would rather take Swerve in Blood and Guts over the Acclaimed.
Yeah, if I had to pick, I'd rather Swerve, but I just don't.
Because, I mean, Swerve's feud with Hangman alone, but, like, I mean, the fucking death match that they fucking had, dude, the Texas death match that they had, like, Swerve is willing to put his whole fucking pussy into that shit.
Leave that in a one-on-one feud, okay?
I'm just saying that he would do really well in Blood and Guts.
Swerve has become stale. I can't wait for I can't wait for Will Ospreay to take the belt off of him.
To you, but...
Will Ospreay's gonna win the belt.
I'm not saying he's not going to. But speaking of, there's a lot of random feuds going on in AEW, such as the Elite and the Acclaimed, MJF and Roosh, and Jericho and Private Party.
There is a lot of random feuds going on right now.
I don't know what they're doing.
Like, the Elite and the Acclaimed is really weird. And then MJF and Roosh is... I'm not interested in it at one bit. I hope that this match that they have this Wednesday is the only fucking match they ever have. Roosh just doesn't do it for me. I'm not interested in Roosh. It's literally, he fucks someone up, and then he leaves for 3 weeks, or 3 months at this point, and then he disappears, and then he's back, and then rinse, recycle. I'm not interested. MJF deserves better and should just move on. And then Jericho and Private Party, well... We unfortunately get to see that live.
So, the only thing that, like, I can think of any of these that's sensical is the Elite and the Acclaimed, which it's not, but... Because, okay, if we were doing this when the Acclaimed were the tag champions, like, what was that, like 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Then I could see it making more sense because the Acclaimed were over as fuck. Everyone did love the Acclaimed. No one was sick of Max Caster acting like a little fucking pretentious prick on Twitter. And you could say that they were like the fans' champions, basically. Like, everybody fucking loved them. No one was sick and tired of seeing them. If we did it back then, I get that. It seems like to me that, like, it would, the feud is almost, like, delayed. Like, if we had the Young Bucks and the Acclaimed 2 years ago with this type of storyline, it would have fucking
been better.
People would have torn the fucking roof off the place for it. Now, it's just the Acclaimed have become stale. and people are tired of seeing the Acclaimed and they're tired of Max Caster for the most part.
I'm tired of Billy Gunn too.
Well, I'm seeing more people tired of Max Caster, so that's why I'm saying people are more so tired of Max Caster. And it's not as hot as it could have been. I still like get where the idea of it's coming from, but it just didn't line up properly. So now it's just kind of like, okay, sure, I guess. MJF and Roosh, I legitimately have no fucking idea. I mean, it'll be a good match. I like Roosh. It'll be a good match. They'll beat the shit out of each other. That'll be fun and dandy. But I have quite literally no idea what the fucking point of the feud is.
I hate it.
And maybe we've missed stuff on Rampage or, like, Ring of Honor. I don't really know if I'd classify Ring of Honor to encompass in AEW, because I still like to think of it as two separate things. So maybe he's been doing more on Rampage and Ring of Honor that we just haven't seen that might be making more sense.
He hasn't.
But irregardless of that, nonetheless, the feud still doesn't make any sense. Like, Roosh is mad that MJF just comes back and talks about being hardworking, but Roosh is hardworking, but we haven't really seen much of Roosh in the past couple of months. I mean, I don't know. They could have just had a random matchup. They could have just been like, MJF's first match back is, you know, he's going to be wrestling this upcoming Wednesday and it's against Roosh. Okay, cool, sure, fine, whatever, why not?
I hate Roosh. Roosh can fuck off.
Like, the story that they're trying to go with here is, like, it's one of those things where it's like, I do like stories no matter, like, how big or small they are, but sometimes you don't need a story. If you just want to have the match, you could have just hotshot booked the match. Because fuck it, why not?
I mean, that's what AEW does to begin with.
They do hotshot book a lot of matches, so I don't understand why we're trying to do a story with this and the story that we're trying to do with it. Like, no one would have batted an eye if they were just like, you know, MJF's first match back after having a few promos of getting the people hyped up that he's back is just against Roosh, because fuck it. Get him a match, have him win the match, have it be a fucking beat the shit out of each other match. MJF comes out on top, and everyone's like, yay, MJF's back, and he won his first match back, yay, and then we can, like, go into a story or something. I have no idea.
Yeah, it does nothing for either of them, so.
Yeah, it's not really doing much. It really would have been better just to hotshot it. Jericho and Private Party. I like Private Party. They're funny and they're fun.
The greatest thing Private Party has ever fucking done is beat the Young Bucks, like, on episode 2 of Dynamite, and they have done nothing since. The Jericho thing is horrible to begin with. Private Party randomly shows up here and there. Why are they feuding with Jericho? I don't fucking know, and I don't fucking care.
I was trying to think about it if there was, like, past history with Private Party and Jericho.
There's not.
I was like, I don't think that there is. So I don't.
I hate it. It's dumb. It's stupid. Jericho just needs to fuck the fuck off too.
Yeah, no, I'm over Jericho. I don't care about this fucking learning tree gimmick. I'm so fucking pissed that I have to sit through him in a fucking Jericho match in person.
I can't wait to boo the fuck out of him. I can't wait. I'm gonna take a video when he comes out just to see how silent the crowd is.
I'm gonna scream.
I hope the crowd is so silent.
I'm gonna scream.
Like, I want the match to be silent. Like, crowd dead. And so all you can hear is Lyssie go, "Oh, brother, this guy stinks."
Oh, brother, this guy stinks. I should. I really should. I hope if I do that, it makes it to TV, and then I end up on Botchamania. That'd be hilarious.
God,
I would love that. Matthew follows me, so
I just fucking hate it.
Yeah, I don't understand what's going on with these random ass fucking feuds. Like, again, the only one I guess I could see in some semblance is the Elite and the Acclaimed, but it's just too late for it. I don't know. I don't know.
They're gonna have eliminator matches.
What?
They're gonna have an eliminator match.
Well, wow, what was it that they're doing? Because they're doing the eliminator match because
it's for the tag team titles.
No, I know it's for the tag team titles, but they said something about the eliminator matches ending up for, like, I don't remember if it was a
they get a tag team title shot if they win.
Yeah, I know, but I don't remember if it was something where it was like they get a tag team title shot at, like, it wouldn't make sense for it to be Forbidden Door.
Forbidden Door makes no sense that we're having Will Ospreay versus Swerve.
Yeah, I don't really get that, but nonetheless, what I'm saying is, like, I feel like they said something about it of, like, a future world title match, but I thought it was, like, at a pay-per-view, but I could be fucking wrong.
I don't know.
I might just be making things up because I'm fucking tired.
I don't follow shit.
Yeah, it's clear.
I hate it.
Moving on. TNA. The System visits the Hardy compound.
This was something.
This was... You know, I feel like I can't even say anything about it because, like, I'm just happy Matt Hardy's having fun.
It was an LOL TNA moment. It was so bad that it was good. But it wasn't even like... It was bad. But, like...
It was bad.
It was bad. But, like, it wasn't no Final Deletion, Tag Team Apocalypto, what they used to do in the past. This was something. They had... My favorite thing about the whole thing was Brian Myers just collecting figures. Matt Hardy's kids were involved. Rebby Sky killed a bitch.
I'm sorry, we have TNA on right now, and I forgot that this is like when they had the boxes to crown.
Oh yeah, the lockbox challenge. Yeah.
This is so fucking stupid.
This was 2010 TNA.
This is so fucking stupid.
LOL TNA.
Yeah, no, the Hardy compound stuff, like, I really feel like I don't have much to say about it because, again, it's TNA. And it's the Hardy compound, and it's broken Matt Hardy.
They're just doing their own thing.
You can literally just get away with doing whatever because, well, it's the broken Hardys.
They're just doing their own fucking thing.
So, yeah, I mean, I can't really say too much about that. But speaking of Brother Nero, I knew you'd come. Jeff Hardy back in TNA.
Yeah, they had against...
To be expected. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, they had Against All Odds on Friday night. Matt Hardy didn't win the belt, but the system kept attacking Matt Hardy, and then Jeff Hardy came out to the Hardy Boys theme, and he hit a Swanton bomb like it was 2008 again. And now the Hardy Boys are in TNA together, is what we expected. Can we just say that it wasn't Jeff Hardy's fault, but it was at the same time. There's a lot of people at fault for this. You think Jeff Hardy had like one of the worst runs in AEW?
No, CM Punk did. No one can beat that.
At least CM Punk won a title. Jeff Hardy, at least CM Punk didn't get suspended for 11 months for drugs and alcohol. No offense,
got
Jeff.
Suspended for beating someone up.
Yeah, they deserved it.
And then fired for beating someone up.
Can we say that Jeff Hardy had the worst run in AEW?
No, I agree. And, like, I'm actually gonna, like... So, I do put a lot of the blame on Jeff. And not in, like, I don't mean to, like, sound like a rude fucking person when I'm talking about this, because I know it's a sensitive topic and whatnot, but no one's at fault for what Jeff did aside from Jeff.
Yes.
However, I do agree...
The booking.
That there's so many people online that will always, no matter who the fuck goes to AEW, immediately be like, oh, did Tony Khan drop the ball with so-and-so? And it's like, dude, you don't even watch the product. You have no idea what's actually going on with them. I can confidently say that Tony Khan dropped the ball with the Hardys.
Yep.
Now, again, Jeff did what Jeff did, and clearly that cost them the tag belts because they were supposed to win them in that trios match, but it had to go to the Bucks so Jack could further his storyline with Christian. Because they weren't going to be able to further the storyline with him and Luchasaurus still holding the belts. So the Bucks ended up being transitional champions, literally lost them their first defense. Held them for, I think, like 37 days. But that was supposed to be the Hardys.
Yeah.
And because Jeff ended up getting suspended and having to go to rehab and whatnot, they didn't get that. And it did seem like that once they came back, I don't know if it was like a punishment thing. Kind of felt like a punishment thing, but I don't know, like, for factual if this was a punishment thing or Tony Khan just trying to be, like, overly cautious with booking the Hardys because he was nervous that maybe if he booked them too much or whatever, that Jeff was going to fall back into what he ended up being in. But irregardless of it, it was pretty much just a very clear Tony didn't have the trust in Jeff. I don't necessarily want to say I can blame him too much when I understand when you look at the track history of Jeff, unfortunately. However, nonetheless, he didn't have the trust in his talent to book his talent accordingly, which therefore just dropped the ball.
The biggest problem Tony Khan caused in all of this was how he booked Jeff Hardy in these random Extreme Rule gimmick matches of go out there and just swanton off of a fucking ledge. Go out there and have a match with Darby Allin, an Owen Hart Cup tournament, a tournament match that was make it no disqualification. And then Jeff Hardy's last moments in TNA is getting his nose broken and concussed by Sammy Guevara. So
AEW.
Yeah, whatever, same thing.
You said TNA.
TNA, AEW, they're all the same.
But I mean, here's the thing. I think that the Hardys would have been booked better if Jeff didn't succumb to his demons, and, end up the way that things ended up. But the thing is, I also don't really know 100% how much, I don't think Tony should have booked, no DQ matches with Jeff, and I get that and whatnot, but I feel like there should have just been more communication overall about the whole thing, because if Jeff, knowing that these are the type of matches that put him in these bad situations where he feels like he needs to go back to drugs and alcohol and shit, that needs to be very abundantly clear.
Yeah.
And we don't work there. We don't know how abundantly clear that was. Maybe Jeff was like, you know what? No, fuck it. I'm fine. I'm better now. I could do this type of stuff. And maybe he was able to put that facade on, and maybe people weren't looking over him as much as they should have.
Also, I don't know.
We don't really know 100%, but nonetheless, I'm not saying Tony has no room to blame for this. He absolutely does.
And I don't know what the fuck they were doing in the final months of Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy when they were still baby faces, but they were turning heel, but they weren't heels.
Yeah, that kind of just stopped because they just kind of stopped showing up too.
It's fucking weird.
It was super fucking weird, but yeah, I will confidently say that of anybody that AEW has dropped the ball with, it was the Hardys. I don't think that there's really anybody else that much that they dropped the ball with.
Yeah.
So it's just it's a disappointing end to their AEW career, but I'm excited to see the stupid fucking bullshit they can get away with in TNA, because they're gonna do some stupid shit.
They're gonna do some stupid shit, and they could probably show up in WWE if they want, because of the whole working relationship. So
I heard rumors that Matt Hardy's gonna be on NXT.
He might. That Battle Royal is
open.
open.
It was for the Battle Royal.
Yeah, that Battle Royal's open to everyone.
Oh, I heard rumors he's showing up in that, so we'll see.
We'll see what happens.
Sorry. But yeah, I mean, nonetheless, realistically speaking, to me, I'm more so concerned that they're happy and they're doing what they want to do. And if they want to go do stupid shit over in TNA and have fun, I'm not gonna sit here and bat an eye about it. Let them go do it. Let them go do
random shit.
They deserve to do whatever the fuck they want at this point in their career. Just let them do the stupid shit. Moving on, let's talk about Clash at the Castle, which I didn't watch.
Because Lyssie just, doesn't care.
I don't. Well, I was at work and Pat wanted to watch Has-Been's Hotel. So he put Has-Been's Hotel on, and I was like, well, that's fine. I'm not going to tell you, no, you can't watch what you want to watch. And then that ended, and then the Five Nights at Freddy's movie came on, and I was like, let's just leave this on, because the pay-per-view was already on, and I was like, I'm not tuning in, halfway to this pay-per-view.
I watched it, and I enjoyed it for, 3 things.
I mean, I'm sure I've seen some stuff on the internet, so I'll at least talk about what I've seen.
So we kicked off. Well, let's just talk about the Scotland crowd first. Crazy.
Any crowd that's not the United States is a good crowd.
Yeah. So it kicked off for Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles in an I Quit match for the WWE Championship. This was match of the night, in my opinion. It was a really fucking good match. They beat the fuck out of each other. There was blood. Mama Rhodes got involved. They fought in the crowd, and Cody won.
Yeah, so the only thing I saw from this match was the AJ getting hit with the chair off of the ropes and then
through the table,
falling to the table.
That was a fucking wild, unnecessary bump, but it was funny.
Well, AJ Styles is a fucking insane man.
Yes.
So, I mean, I'm not surprised of anything that he does, ever.
Mama Road slapped AJ Styles like 4 times.
Okay.
Called him an asshole, and then the finish was AJ got handcuffed to the ropes. Cody was going to hit him with the stairs. AJ said, "I quit." And then Cody hit him with the stairs anyway.
The gay community.
The stairs were the gay community. The gay community.
No, it sounded like a good match. And again, like the couple of things I saw on the internet about it were fun. So
It was fun.
cool.
Next, we had a triple threat tag team match for the women's tag team titles. We had the hometown girls of Alba Fry and Elias Dawn. I don't know how to say her name, not going to lie. Against Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark, and the champions of Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, which they lost. The team of the hometown girls, Alba Fry and Elias Dawn, won. And I didn't watch a second of this match. I watched like maybe here and there. Jade botched a few times, wasn't her best work. I didn't give a fuck about this match, but it was a shock victory.
Yeah, I'm kind of confused as to why they took the belts off. Again, the only thing I saw from this match was, unfortunately, the Jade botches. But, so I don't know if maybe something if something did happen in this match where maybe they're, like, hinting towards, like, you know, Bianca and Jade,
I don't know.
like, not being on the same page anymore type of thing, and, like, there's gonna be some sort of, like, you know, feud going on there with them. Which would make sense, but I feel like they just got the belts, and now they lost them already. So
it's whatever at this
point. All right. I hope that the girls that won the belts are good. I haven't seen anything of them, so I'm sure I will soon. But I haven't seen anything of them, so
they're all right. This was the second match of the night. It was for the Intercontinental Championship. It was Sami Zayn defending against Chad Gable, and god damn it, Chad Gable cannot win the fucking Intercontinental Championship for the fucking life of him, and it's getting fucking ridiculous.
I didn't see anything about this.
It was a really good fucking match. Otis and Maxine were there. They fucked over Chad Gable because Chad Gable is a horrible father. He plays the abusive father gimmick way too well. And Sami Zayn turns into Hulk Hogan when it comes to putting over Chad Gable.
But what did they do to fuck him over?
Well, so Chad, like, tried distracting the referee a few times and, like, handed Maxine the belt, and, like, she had an open shot to hit Sammy with the belt, but she didn't. So Chad got mad at her and was like, "You get up here right now." And then Sammy went for the haluva kick. Chad moved and almost haluva kicked Maxine. Mind you, Maxine is wearing a boot, as if you were wearing a boot, like if you broke your foot or ankle. Mm-hmm. And they did like a thing on the outside of the ring where like Otis was conflicted. He got in the face of Chad Gable and was like pretty much like telling him to calm down. Sammy did a suicide dive and Chad Gable moved, hit Otis. And then there was another spot where Chad Gable was going to attack Sami Zayn, but Sammy moved and he chop blocked Maxine from behind on her bad ankle. And then Otis picked up Maxine and they left. And then that caused Chad Gable to lose. Because he was distracted. Like, what the fuck you doing?
So they fucked him over because they're good people?
Yes.
Okay.
Chad Gable's going to be pissed and he's going to abuse Otis tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw probably.
Oh, boy. Well,
I think Chad Gable should have won. That's just me, though. I like Chad Gable. I don't mind Sami Zayn as the Intercontinental Champion. I like Sammy, too. But I'm just saying, Chad Gable should have won. That's just me being playing favoritism. Next, we had a singles match for the women's title, Bayley versus Piper Niven.
I didn't even say anything about this match.
I didn't watch a single fuck about this match. I was just scrolling on my phone. I didn't care. So we're moving on. Sorry, Bayley. We had the main event for the World Heavyweight Championship. We had Damian Priest defending against the hometown boy, Drew McIntyre. Damian Priest won because of CM Punk. CM Punk robbed Drew McIntyre. He screwed Drew McIntyre. He drove all the way. Yes, he drove. He came all the way from Chicago to Scotland just to fuck over Drew McIntyre.
That referee was trying to fuck on me.
I made Lyssie made a video to that. So what happened was there was a ref bump spot. The referee gets bumped. Drew McIntyre hits the Claymore kick on Damian Priest. So a referee needs to come running out. So referee comes running out, and the way they shot it, you can't see who the referee is. And the referee goes, 1, 2, and he stops. The camera cuts, and it's CM Punk. He holds up the 2 sign. Drew McIntyre goes to choke CM Punk like CM Punk choked Jack Perry, and then Punk kicked him in the balls. And then there was mixed reactions of the crowd because Drew was the hometown boy, and then Damian Priest won.
Mm-hmm.
So we're getting Punk and Drew. Drew's gonna fucking kill Punk when Punk's racked. And they did the media scrum afterwards of Punk had donuts. And sorry, I was just getting ready for the questions. But Punk had donuts, and he said that he's more than likely cleared. He's going to the doctors tomorrow on Monday. He's gonna skip Monday Night Raw in Corpus Christi, Texas, which I don't blame him. Skipping Raw in Texas, fuck that bullshit. And he's going to be on SmackDown on Friday because they're in Chicago. And he's hoped to deliver the good news that he's clear. So, that's cool. I mean, yeah, Drew should have won, but they're not going to put the belt on Drew because they're going to put the belt on Gunther. Because Gunther's going to beat Damian Priest at SummerSlam. So they're not going to make Drew... And Drew and Punk don't need the belt for their feud.
I'm not saying that they do. I'm just saying that being a Drew girly is getting really fucking hard.
Is it getting hard these days?
Yes. My boy. Mad about it. Fuck you, Punk. Making my boy sad. All he does is make the guys I like sad. Why is that, Punk? Do you have a vendetta against me? Is that what this is? Is this just CM Punk out to get me specifically?
Yes.
Makes all the boys that I like sad. That hurts my heart.
All right. Well, moving on.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do some listener questions.
Okay. Did you just take over being the host?
Do you want to read these questions?
No, you can read them.
Okay.
I'm too fucking tired to think.
Okay. Well, let's answer some of these questions. Let's have some fun.
This beat is sick. I want to take a ride on your disco sick.
Okay. Let's have some fun here. Lyssie, you can't answer Jack Perry. What's your favorite New Japan wrestler? That's what the question says.
Who sent this?
Bryce.
Fuck you, Bryce.
I'm going to keep all names anonymous, but I'll give you that one.
Fuck you, Bryce. I mean, am I allowed to, like, say whenever, or...
Whenever, just not Jack Perry.
Okay, I mean, I do love Shinsuke.
Okay.
Even though he's with WWE now. If we're talking about someone that's still, like, with New Japan, probably Takahashi.
Okay.
Or Naito.
Okay.
But, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I love Shinsuke, though. Like, he's just not there. You know what I mean? But he was.
That's fair.
But...
I mean, since you did one, I'll do past and present. So past, Jushin Thunder Liger.
Yeah, I can see that.
And then present, I have 2, Zack Sabre Jr. and Dave Finlay.
I still can't believe you like Dave Finlay.
I just do. Okay, so most underrated throughout each major promotion. So we'll go WWE, WCW, AEW, TNA. We'll do the big 4.
Jesus fucking Christ.
So, most underrated in WWE.
Andrade right now.
Okay.
Because what the fuck are they doing with him?
Okay.
Like, that's literally the first one that comes to my mind. And maybe it's just because I was also talking about him today. But Jesus fucking Christ, underutilized, under fucking appreciated.
AEW.
I'd probably still go with Trent Beretta. I've seen people, like, in the past, and I would say in the past, I would agree, say Takeshita. But Takeshita's gotten really fucking over really fucking fast with the fans, so I wouldn't say underrated anymore. But I would still say Trent. Because I think Trent's very, 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 very versatile.
TNA.
I have no idea what's going on currently with TNA.
You can just say Christopher Daniels.
Oh yeah, Christopher Daniels! Oh my god, yeah. Sorry, I'm thinking too much current day about these right now. Yeah, no, hands down, Christopher Daniels.
There's wrestling before this time. Just hope you know.
No, I know, but yeah, you did say WCW.
Yeah, which most underrated WCW.
No idea.
No idea.
Couldn't fucking tell you.
Just say Chris Canyon.
Yeah, Chris Canyon. Underappreciated. Well, probably not underappreciated in WCW, because he was.
No, he was. He was very.
He was.
He was Mortis, but
Mortis.
I'll have to show you more Mortis footage. He wasn't booked well either.
Oh.
Yeah.
But didn't the fans love Mortis?
They did, but.
So that's what when I always think of underrated, I'm thinking more of a fan's perspective, and not just based off of
Sure.
What?
Sure. I'm just saying sure.
I'm saying more of a fan's perspective, because I feel even if we're gonna talk WWE and AEW, AEW, yes, the best friends fans are still there, but I feel majority people could take or leave Trent Barretta, and I feel especially in WWE, people are really taking or leaving fucking Andrade. So when I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking, well, the fans loved Mortis, so that's why I wouldn't say underrated, but
I loved Mortis.
But yeah, no, I get where you're coming from with that.
Most underrated in WWE for me? God damn. Sparkplug Bob Holly. Not even joking. What was the next one? AEW?
Yeah.
Most underrated in AEW? Fuck. Shit.
Angelico.
Yeah, you know what? Angelico. Fuck it. It's Angelico.
I feel whenever he comes on, you're yeah!
I fucking love Angelico, bro. You know, fuck it. Angelico. Or Kip Sabian.
Yeah, where the fuck's Kip?
Exactly.
Is he in Ring of Honor right now?
I don't know. I don't know. No, he's not doing anything. Lyssie, because you don't see him on TV doesn't mean that they're just in Ring of Honor. It means they're not being fucking booked.
That's what Dark Order's been doing. Where the fuck's Dark Order? And apparently they've been over in Ring of Honor, so my assumption's immediately just, well, they have to be over on Ring of Honor.
John Silver's also very underrated.
Yeah.
Most underrated TNA? TNA. Huh. I'll go Christopher Daniels or Kazarian.
Oh, yeah, Kazarian.
Since Kazarian's on my screen right now. Homicide also, since Homicide's... Shannon Moore, since all three of them are on my screen right now. Most underrated in WCW? Yeah, I'll go with Chris Canyon on that one, too.
Okay.
Or Vampiro. Favorite year in pro wrestling?
Fucking Christ. That would again have to be recent for me, because when I was younger watching wrestling, I don't really recall much of timelines. And even now, if I go back and watch certain stuff, I'm not watching through a whole year's worth of I'm not just gonna sit down and watch 2000s fucking WWE, WWF or anything, you know what I mean? So I guess just on a personal standpoint, it would probably have to be 2021. Because, 2020 is when I got back into watching wrestling. 2021 was when I first watched anything to do with AEW, and that was also just a phenomenal year in AEW. And that's what really brought me back to watching it. So, again, that's more of a sentimental, personal reason for it. But anything that I watched up until I stopped watching and then started watching, I would not be able to give you a proper timeline of what I liked from where.
For me, it would be 1998. I always enjoy going back and watching 98 Attitude Era, 98 WCW, 98 ECW. It was such a good fucking year. Also, 1986 was a great year for NWA. I enjoy going back and watching 1986 stuff. I also like to dabble in 2004, 2005, 2006 Ring of Honor. 2007 TNA is also good. And for recently, 2021 AEW.
Okay.
So... You have 5 guys to choose to fill up a wrestling figure set. Who's filling those spots?
Do I say the obvious?
Oh my god.
Do I say the complete and utter obvious?
Sure.
I mean, if we're going with the obvious, it's gonna be Nick, Matt, Hangman, Kenny, and there's no Cutler figure. I can't add a Cutler there. Just throw Jack in there.
I think they're making a Cutler figure.
They are, but he's not out yet. Yeah, no, I mean that's a pretty cut and clear dry one for me. What else do we mean by this question of like to set up a figure set?
That's your figure set.
Yeah, like
that would be the series. Usually when there's a series released.
Oh, we're talking about a series release.
Holy fuck.
Oh my god. Okay, that was not clear to me. I'm like, what? You mean just like, oh, I'm gonna make a little display of figures and I have 5 of them to choose from? Well, yeah, I'm gonna choose my favorite faction.
Holy fuck.
Okay, actually you answer this first because I need some time to think about this.
Okay. So I would pick, mine's gonna be all over the place, but I'd pick Vampiro, Mortis, I'm getting there. Trying to think. This is actually kind of hard.
Yeah, this is not an easy fucking question.
2010 heel Antichrist of Wrestling Jeff Hardy would be cool. Hayabusa. And fuck it, Great Muta. There's my 5.
Oh man. This is like legitimately not a fucking easy one. Shit. Jesus fucking Christ. I honestly don't know. So I'm trying to think of like current day stuff that like would maybe make sense, but maybe also not even make sense. All right, you know what? We'll be a little fun with it. So, first one, because there's no description on what type of figures we're choosing. So I'm just gonna take that and make my own thing with it. I wanted Jack Perry with the scapegoat bust, but like how there's that Stone Cold one with the fucking monster truck.
Oh, but I'm not allowed to buy Stone Cold in the monster truck. Okay.
What I'm saying is, like, that would be fucking funny. That'd be really stupid and funny. And again, there's no specifications on what we can and can't be doing. So I'd say we'll do Jack Perry with the scapegoat bus, but it's like he's got launching action out of it. Because why the fuck not? I would want I wanted Darby Allin, but with various different weapons of that he's put thumbtacks onto. So, like, the thumbtack hoodie, the mask, the skateboard. I think that would be pretty cool. Let's see. What else? I'm trying to think of, like, if AEW were to do, like, a defining moments section. Like how WWE has the defining moments. I'm trying to think of, like, what would be really fucking cool to put in there. Chris Jericho with the cruise ship with orange drink in it.
The best friends with Sue in the van would be a good one.
Yeah, best friend Sue figure. So that's 4. Because I'll put a Jericho one in there with that orange juice spot. Has to come with the cruise ship.
Hangman with the horse.
Hangman with the horse. There you go. There are your AEW defining moments figures.
Okay.
I feel like that's a solid, fun set to have. That would be really fucking fun.
Favorite TNA wrestler of all time?
Ooh. Oh, God. That's tough. Because, like, I love Christopher Daniels. I love Lethal. Obviously, like, Jeff. I love Jeff. And, I mean, the thing is, like...
But would you classify him as a TNA wrestler?
No, he was just there. Like, I mean, I feel like the easy answer is to say AJ Styles, because, like, I loved AJ Styles in TNA, and just not anywhere else in WWE. Like, I mean, you know. So I feel like that's like too much of like an easy answer. I realistically, I'd probably have to go with either Christopher Daniels or Jay Lethal.
Okay. I meant to add this guy in underrated in TNA as well because he was also underrated, and he is my favorite TNA wrestler, Monty Brown.
Okay.
He's the one that does the pounce.
Yeah.
Fucking love Monty Brown. I meant to add him in underrated as well, and AJ Styles is also like an easy one, and
I feel like that's too easy.
Kurt Angle's run as well. But Monty Brown.
Oh, I mean, I could just say Generation Me.
Oh my god. Monty Brown.
I'm trying not to be too obvious about these questions, okay?
The Motor City Machine Guns as well. I always fucked with them, so. Ezekiel Jackson or the Great Khali?
I'm gonna go to King of Prussia and I'm gonna shoot him. I'm gonna shoot him.
Don't say that on the podcast.
Oh, I'm gonna... Pew, pew,
God.
pew, pew, pew.
We're talking about Bryce.
Hi, Bryce. I'm always gonna pick the Great Khali out of anything.
Me too. The Great Khali.
I used to call him the Great Guatemala Olive.
Even though Ezekiel Jackson, there'll be no stopping. Because when you go harder than someone, this right here is domination. Favorite wrestler from the Attitude Era?
Edge? Oh, I mean McFoley. Yeah, McFoley. I don't think Edge classifies, but yeah, definitely McFoley.
Edge was there like at the very end.
Yeah, he was he was very tail end. Yeah, McFoley.
Mine would be Stone Cold Steve Austin. Give me a hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Be Stone Cold. Favorite WCW wrestler?
Oh God, I'm not a WCW type of guy.
Yeah, you don't watch WCW.
I mean, if I have to pick one off the top of my head, I'm just gonna say Scott Hall.
Okay.
I mean,
Mine would be Mortis or Vampiro.
Okay, yeah.
Or Sting!
Yeah, that's fair. The Sting is always a very fair option.
David Arquette. Or Vince Russo. My favorite.
Didn't Eric Bischoff win the belt at one point?
He won the hardcore title.
He won the hardcore title.
David Arquette and Vince Russo held the belt before.
Yeah, held the belt.
I hope they talk about that. So this is a Lyssie specific question.
Why can't I look at it? You're gonna ask me it anyway.
On August 4th, 2007, in High Risk Wrestling, Matt and Nick Jackson teamed up with which former WWF superstar from 1995 in a 6-man tag where they defeated the team of Joey Ryan, Carl Anderson, and Diablo. It's multiple choice. You have Mantar, 1-2-3 Kid, Marty Jannetty, or Aldo Montoya.
Jannetty.
Holy shit, you got it right.
Yeah,
Holy shit. That's insane.
I feel like that's obvious.
That's just
Especially
insane.
multiple choice. That's obvious.
I was not expecting you to guess Marty Jannetty. I thought you were going to go 1-2-3 Kid.
No.
That's actually fucking insane that you knew that.
Who asked that?
Bryce.
Okay.
Have you ever seen that match?
No, but especially once it's given in a multiple... Where was that, Where was that at? That wasn't Ring of Honor.
It's High Risk Wrestling.
High Risk Wrestling? Oh, that was said. That was said.
High Risk Wrestling. Do you think AEW will last another 5 years?
Yes. Yeah, no, hands down, easy peasy.
I think so. I see. Oh, go ahead.
Here's the thing, right? Like, and I'll say this until the company decides to close its doors, if it ever decides to close its doors, because I don't think it's going to. Because even if the product sucks and people don't like it and fans turn away from it, it's gonna prevail like TNA's prevailed over the years. Like, there's still gonna be the diehard fans for it. And the thing that everyone seems to consistently overlook is Tony Khan has an endless amount of money in his pockets. And if the company's going to go on for as long as Tony Khan wants the company to go on for, or as long as Tony Khan's alive. Like, it's not going to close its fucking doors. It's not going to go out of business. If anything, it will drop to what TNA is at current day at some point. But within the next 5 years, I don't see it dropping down to that. And I definitely don't see it closing its doors.
Cool, I don't have the answer because you said everything that I was gonna say.
It's just like...
It's not going anywhere because Tony Khan has a shitload of money.
Yeah.
In other words.
Unless Tony and Shad die tomorrow, There's nothing that's going to stop the company from existing.
And like it's not gonna have the same. It could have the same fate WCW had, where they get kicked off of Turner Broadcasting fucking networks, but it's not 2001. It's 2024, where they can just go on a streaming service.
They'll go on a streaming service, or they'll inevitably just kind of do like the indie style.
Yeah.
You know,
like
they'll get their shit on Fight.
If
like,
that ever comes to like something, like if they ever get kicked off of TNT or TBS, they'll just go to streaming.
I could easily see them going over to Fight, like easily.
I mean, their pay-per-views are on Fight, so
yeah, like that. It's not the company itself is not going anywhere.
How many belts is enough?
Well, I'm just gonna start stating stuff, and then we'll count as I go. Men's world title, women's world title. Men's tag teams.
Just one or two?
I'll just say like a standard tag team.
Okay.
Standard tag team. I'll throw in women's tag teams.
Okay.
And then we have secondaries where I would say, like, just as an example, like TNT and TBS.
Okay.
So I don't really foresee needing there to be much more than that, so I'd say 6.
Okay, I'll see your 6. I understand where you're coming from. For me, it would be men's world title, mid-card, men's mid-card, tag team, women's world title, and I'll even throw in women's tag. I get women's mid-card and all that, but just have a women's world title and a women's fucking tag team and call it a day.
I mean,
I can understand the mid-card for the men's because, not to sound sexist or anything, every roster in wrestling has more men than women.
And I get that, but I don't think that should deter from women not having a spotlight. And
I get what you're saying.
I get that the tag team belts and the women's title could be quote unquote like enough for women's, but realistically speaking, that is given 2 major storylines in the women's division along with whatever minor storylines might just be going on. Whereas I feel like it should be an equal balanced act, where if men are allowed to have 3 major storylines going on, and then whatever side stories, women should be able to also have 3 major storylines going on along with side stories.
No.
And it just needs to be balanced out evenly enough. Like, if we're having a 2-hour show, I feel like it should realistically be a little closer to like 50-50, if not 60-40, than like 70-30. Like, I feel like...
Yeah.
We should be able to have the time frame to have enough of it being an even split,
or
and it should be.
I will say it. I will keep saying it. No one gives a fuck about Rampage. I'm sorry. No one gives a fuck about Rampage. They book one fucking women's match on Dynamite, Rampage, and even Collision. Sometimes you get 2. Why not make Rampage? And I'm not saying because the women no one gives a fuck about. Why not make Rampage an all-women show?
I mean, it's proven success for Stardom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying that, like, women only get Rampage and that's it, but I feel like...
No, I'm saying... No, I'm not saying that either.
I know what you're saying.
Like,
what you're saying.
Like, let them have Dynamite and Collision still. Like, they can have matches there. But Rampage should just be 1 hour of women's matches to give them all time.
To give them time and to also further the stories, and I get that, but then that's also going to be read as wrong, and it's not going to work over well, especially in an Americanized audience.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate. Because at that point, it's just like, okay, why give women the C show when no one's going to watch it anyway, instead of actually putting them on the primetime television where they deserve, which I also agree with, but I also can see a standpoint in that. But it just wouldn't work for an Americanized audience. Like, unfortunately, like, I don't think it shouldn't not work for an Americanized audience, but the way that American wrestling fans are still to this current day, it just would not work out well in their favor.
It wouldn't.
So,
this isn't a question, but this can be like kind of a follow-up question to what we're talking about. Counting all of the AEW belts and even Ring of Honor, because they're under the same company, and WWE and NXT because they're the same company. Do you think WWE and AEW have too many fucking belts? Because I think so, on both ends. Because WWE, they have world title on each brand. They have a mid-card title on each brand, tag team titles on each brand, women's titles on each brand. Then you have the women's tag titles that float. And then NXT, you have the NXT title, the NXT North American title, the NXT tag team titles, and now the NXT North American women's title.
I don't think... Okay, so...
Too many belts.
I don't think there needs to be any sort of North American, United States, international, continental fucking belts. The only time I can ever and will ever agree with an international belt is if quite literally, which was done like once, if you have an international belt that is going around the world to be defended.
And then AEW...
That is the only acceptable reason I can see for it, because if you have an international belt but you are stationed in the States, it makes no sense.
AEW has too many belts too.
Or intercontinental or whatever.
They have the Intercontinental title can always stay with WWE. It's been there since the fucking 70s. Do not disrespect that title ever.
What does it mean though? Like, what does intercontinental mean?
It was always the workhorse title. The world title was always given to the guy, the world champion. The Intercontinental champion was always given to the guy that's going to be the world champion next. Or the second popular fucking star.
I think the name is deceiving.
It's weird, but anyway, back to what I was saying. AEW has too many belts too. They have the world title. They have the TNT title. They have the tag team titles. They have the trios titles. They have the Ring of Honor trios titles. The Ring of Honor title. The Ring of Honor television title. The Ring of Honor women's television title. The Ring of Honor pure title. They have, which I will never disrespect. They have the TNT title. The TBS title. Am I missing? The Continental Breakfast. The international title. There's a lot of belts.
Yeah, no, I'm not necessarily disagreeing. I think a lot of them don't need to be there. Again, I think 6 at most is perfect.
I could see having trios belts. I could. That's different. I like that. Mexico does that. Mm-hmm. I like the concept of the trios belts when there's actual trios teams that are booked right. But we don't need all these other fucking belts. I'm sorry. World title, mid-card title, tag titles, women's title, women's tag. Call it a day.
Okay.
Call it a fucking day. Honest opinion on NXT.
Terrible. It's fucking terrible. It is actually, and I'm not even trying to exaggerate, it is actually one of the worst fucking products I think I've seen in a long time. And it has nothing to do with the fucking wrestling. Like, it has nothing to do with the wrestling at all. I don't know what the fuck they're making these wrestlers do with their fucking gimmicks and shit, and these backstage fucking segments, but it is absolute fucking trash. Like, the only saving grace is the wrestling ability for some of these wrestlers that are in NXT. Otherwise, it still feels that same way of WWE, like, making fun of the intelligence of its fucking fans.
I don't know, like... So NXT Black and Gold was a whole different level. I love NXT Black and Gold. I don't know what type of audience NXT is trying to aim at now, where it's... Are they trying to aim at children? Or are they trying to aim at basement dwellers that never had love from another woman because they have Sexy Red and Lola Vice shaking their ass? Then you have Wendy Chu or whatever the fuck her name is with her horrible ass sleeping gimmick. Some of these gimmicks are god awful.
It's terrible. It is literally like it feels like a fucking fever dream.
You have Trick Williams inviting people to the cookout.
It feels like a fucking Troom version of fucking wrestling.
It's something. It's not the best.
No, it's not good. It feels like a fever dream YouTube video that's supposed to be like catered towards children, but is just a little too weird for it to actually be anything any children would watch.
It makes sense why TNA is working with them.
Well, yeah, TNA would never... They would never have TNA work with the actual, like, Raw or SmackDown product.
It just makes sense.
At least at the moment.
It makes sense.
But, yeah, no, it's a fucking train wreck.
All right, we got 2 more questions. These are going to be cool questions. Do you think that Seth Rollins and or Becky Lynch will sign with AEW?
No.
Me either.
Not in a million years. Again, Becky Lynch is right now seemingly just pulling everyone's fucking leg. There's no way.
And
no way she's ever going to go over to AEW.
Seth's a WWE guy.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, would I love to see either of them in AEW? Yeah. Do I think that Becky could do a lot for the women's division in AEW? Yeah, absolutely. And do I think Seth would be a great, like, top guy in AEW? Yeah. But they're not going anywhere. They're not going anywhere.
I would like to see Seth Rollins versus Will Ospreay. That's about it.
Yeah.
But it's never going to happen.
And I'd love to see Seth and Kenny.
Well, you can watch that in Ring of Honor.
Well, I know, but like now. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see that now.
And then another one. Will Buddy Matthews leave AEW and sign with WWE? And join his actual girlfriend, Rhea Ripley? Yes. I can see it.
Jesus fucking Christ, Dylan, stop moving. Jesus. I don't know. Buddy is kind of a tough nut to crack, I feel like, when it comes to this, right?
I can see him.
Because, like, I feel like I don't know enough about Buddy Matthews, and Buddy Matthews doesn't show enough for us to really have any sort of idea. Could I see him showing up and hanging out with Rhea? Yeah, I absolutely could. But on the exact same token, I could see him sticking around with House of Black. Like, I think the thing with Buddy is if everyone in House of Black goes, Buddy will go. Mm-hmm. But if House of Black stays, Buddy's staying. I don't think Buddy will just up and leave House of Black to go back over. And I could be wrong. I could very much be wrong. But I feel like it also just wouldn't make sense to have him leave House of Black and have it just be Brody and Malachi. I mean, it would.
Well, they can just do Kings of the Black Throne.
They could just do Kings of the Black Throne again.
Well, let's talk about House of Black. Do you see Malachi leaving and going to WWE?
I could see him leaving when his contract is up if they continue booking him in House of Black like how they've been booking.
Brody King. Yes, because he's friends with CM Punk.
Yeah, but...
Bro, imagine him, like, fantasy booking. I'm sorry, Punk. Take that fantasy booking shit elsewhere, as you said. But imagine him showing up in WWE, like, as a heel, with CM Punk as a heel, and having Punk, like, have him be, like, Punk's heavy.
It's, okay, here's the thing, right? I feel like if House of Black left in its entirety to go to WWE and do House of Black over in WWE, it wouldn't work.
No, I think it could. Triple H booked Aleister Black really good.
Yeah, but you also just said way earlier on that spooky gimmicks in wrestling don't really work that well.
That is also true.
And
yes.
WWE is a very bad track record of having spooky gimmicks.
But also, we got to take a look at WWE is sports entertainment centric still.
Sure.
The reason why they don't get over in AEW is because of the the transportation.
That's not the reason they don't get over in AEW.
There's also other reasons, but it's a hard call. I could see them, but at the same time, I also see where you're coming from.
Because I feel like they would end up in WWE and they would be treated like or booked poorly, or they'd made to be look out like a bad spooky gimmick, and then they'd get pissed off because their gimmick's not what their vision is. And then they'd probably break them up, and then Malachi would go off to do phenomenal, great things, and Brody would end up being just kind of like, what the fuck is his name?
He'd be kind of like Braun Strowman.
Yeah, Braun Strowman. He'd be like Braun Strowman.
And Buddy Matthews would be on speed.
And Buddy Matthews would either be on speed
Not
or...
the drunk.
He would show up when Rhea comes back and Dom decides to turn on Rhea to go with Liv, and then Buddy comes back and he would be with Rhea for a while and then maybe just kind of be in the same boat that Dom's in.
And then Julia Hart's just left for dust.
Yeah, because I'd feel bad, because if Julia Hart ended up showing up in WWE, they would not do her justice.
That she'd go immediately to NXT.
She would go immediately to NXT, and then she'd probably get released. They'd probably put her back with fucking Pillman.
They would. They would.
And then to be like, you're not a spooky girl anymore. You have to be like an egotistical like queen because he's the king.
Oh man, they would. They so would.
And then she would just get released.
They so would.
Fucking. Can you imagine? She shows up and she's like, God fucking damn it,
They
you
so
again?
would. They so would.
And who the fuck is Griff Garrison?
Yeah, he had a match against Edge, and then he just disappears.
Who the fuck is Griff Garrison? Poor Griff.
All right. Anyway, those were the questions. If you the 6 people that listen to this podcast, if you guys have questions, send them in. Comment. Email us. No, don't. We don't have an email.
No, we don't.
Find us on Instagram, Twitter, whatever the fuck. We'll get that at the end. And stuff. Just give us questions, because cool, we'll answer them and everything. Or if you guys want us to talk about something wrestling related, just comment. Like, don't be afraid. I know you guys are listening. Just type away. Anyway, Lyssie.
Mm-hmm.
You're the host.
I am, even though you've taken over my job.
I did for like the last little bit of this episode. Who is your wrestler of the week?
So my wrestler of the week was someone that 2 weeks ago, when I was going back and forth between 2 people, and I ended up deciding to land on one. And it's still within the same vein. So we're really not falling too far from the tree. But my wrestler of the week is Chris Statlander.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
It's better to talk about her than Trent Beretta. Anyway.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I was going back and forth because I was like, both of them I want to talk about, but I don't know who to start with. And then I was just like, you know what, fuck it. We'll talk about Trent first.
Why do you love this lovely woman, Chris Statlander?
Because she's fucking badass, dude. Like, so I didn't know about who Chris Statlander was until watching AEW. And when I was watching, she was still doing the alien gimmick.
Unfortunately.
And I didn't hate it. Because, like, I didn't really mind the alien gimmick because it wasn't, like, crazy over the top. It was just kind of like her makeup and her vibe and whatnot. So I was here for it. And she, like, really just captivated me with the way that she wrestled, basically this fucking powerhouse of a woman. And I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, this girl just brutalizes people. I love her. So yeah, I love a strong woman.
Chris Statlander is still, like, since she debuted in AEW, she is, like, in the top 5 of, like, best women's wrestlers in AEW.
I argue she is. I would argue she is. Like, the best wrestler.
You would argue? Yeah, I can see it, yeah.
I mean, the only other person that I really would even say comes close to her in my vein of book is Hikaru Shida. Willow's up there. Willow's really fucking good, but I still think that Chris just edges her out.
Favorite Chris Statlander match?
Shit. I honestly don't know. I mean, I could at least say my favorite moment of a match, that I know off the top of my head that just makes my heart flutter every single time. Her second match with Jade. I mean, I don't even know if calling her when Jade called out, like, you know, if anyone in the back wants to come after me, and Chris came back and then won the belt from her. But when Chris gave her, like, her goodbye match.
Yeah.
Like, the match was great. Like
on a random episode of Rampage.
Yeah, like, I loved them. Was it Rampage? Or
yep.
Was it? Okay.
It was a random episode of Rampage.
I loved the match. The match was fun and everything. But the goodbye that came from it was just very heartwarming, you know? And that really sticks with me a lot.
My favorite Chris Statlander match hasn't happened yet, but I know it's going to be my favorite is when she faces Willow.
Mm-hmm. Well, one-on-one.
Yeah.
Because they have been against each other.
Yeah. But one-on-one.
Because it was, Chris and Willow
It was some multi-person.
yeah. So I think Sky Blue was in there too.
It was something.
But
Um,
I mean, Chris and Julia Hart
yeah.
was also very good.
Chris Statlander as an alien babyface or as a heel. Not as an alien though.
Well, I like her as a heel, but I would argue that her babyface as a more than a woman, Chris Statlander. So when she came back when she wasn't the alien and she was a babyface, and she was, I mean, she still, has the moniker of more than a woman.
Yeah.
But when she came back with like the black, like Thunderbolt, and her hair was like the black and the blue under highlights and everything. Before she became a heel recently,
Yes.
I would say is my favorite.
I know what you're talking about, yes.
Okay, well, you're not answering me, so.
Any more on Chris Statlander?
Well, I missed her a lot when she was gone.
She got injured like twice.
Yeah, like in very quick succession, unfortunately. It was both the same injury to her knees.
Yeah.
But, like, I hate to say, like, I'm so happy she's back because she's been back for a very long time. But she's so fucking good. And the heel shit that she is doing with Stokely right now is fucking hilarious.
I love it.
Like, her with Stokely, and I don't want to say Stokely as her mouthpiece because she does talk and she is very good at talking. But, like, with her and Stokely just bouncing back off each other is absolutely fucking fantastic.
Yes.
I would also argue that not only do I think she's the best women's wrestler on the roster, but I think that she is like the face of the women's division. I know Britt's been gone who knows fucking where for so long. But even with Britt around, I would argue that Chris was the face of the women's division.
That's fair.
So there's that. What do you have to say about Chris?
I always like Chris Statlander. She's one of the few bright spots on AEW television for me, so
anytime she's on TV, it's going to be good.
Yeah, let's put it that way.
Like realistically speaking, I don't think I've ever had at least in my recollection that there's been a moment where Chris Statlander's on my TV and I'm like not thrilled about it.
I'm glad she never has to team with Orange Cassidy again. Let's put it that way.
I'm excited to see what her and Trent do.
Yeah.
Like if they end up doing like a mixed tag match, like I'm really fucking excited for that. Because I think they're both fantastic.
Yes.
But I think that wraps this about up, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. It does.
All right. Well,
take us out of here.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, listen to it, watch it, however you may have done it. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Send this video out to your friends, your coworkers, your besties, your enemies, your Stokeleys, whoever it might be. Send that their way.
Send this to Stokely Hathaway.
Just spam send this to Stokely Hathaway. Just see what he thinks about it, He'll block us. But anyway, if you want to follow the podcast, we do have an Instagram. It is Talkin Wrasslin Pod. That is TALKIN_WRASSLIN_POD. If you enjoyed what I have to say and what I think, even though I am half conscious right now, you could find me on my social medias, Twitter and Instagram being the same, which is Lungtar. That is LUNG_TAR. My Instagram, don't post as much on there, really. I do on occasion make, actual posts, but predominantly it's, story posts and whatnot. My Twitter is all about wrestling 99% of the time, 100% of the time about the Elite. If you enjoy listening to me talk for whatever fucking reason, and you want to see my face attached to my voice, you could go over and follow me on TikTok, which is Lungbucks. That is LUNG_BUCKS. Predominantly, it is a wrestling-related TikTok account. So, I either do, funny videos about wrestling, or I talk about certain things going on in wrestling. The whole 9 yards. Dylan, where could they find you?
You can find me on the Twitter, the Twitter and Instagram, because it's the same fucking handle. At Danny_line Valo _line DANI _line VALO _line. I don't post much on Instagram, just here and there, and Twitter, I just make fun of Dave Meltzer a lot and post random highlight videos of stuff, or retweet, I should say, highlight videos of stuff, and get mad at Tony Khan for booking Chris Jericho at her upcoming Collision taping.
I'm in your walls, Tony Khan. You hear that scratching? You hear that scratching in your walls right now? It's me. I'm gonna burst through like the fucking Kool-Aid Man. I'm gonna fucking... Well, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm probably gonna make you feel at least a little uncomfortable.
You're gonna make him fear for his life.
I'm gonna be honest, dude. If I busted through our walls, I would fear for my life.
Yeah?
I genuinely would. If there was a person in our walls and I busted through them and they busted through them, yeah, I'm freaking the fuck out. But yeah, Tony, I'm in your fucking walls. Fuck you right now. But anyway, I guess that's it for this episode.
Yes.
All right. Well, again, thanks for watching, guys. Catch us next week where we'll be talking about Collision and how much we hate Chris Jericho.
Bye!
Goodbye.